Greetings, my human friends. This is Rudolf, the tall white alien, on the 14th of February 2024. It's important that I tell you the dates lately because this way you have a reference when it comes to events which will follow up, and then you can compare whatever I have said to the events which followed, because many things I predicted before have been coming to pass. In this particular case, yesterday I spoke about a new kind of coronavirus which is being produced already in the laboratories, so they can be served, these particular doses of virus, to the public. And it's actually ready to go, but they are a little bit insecure about the antidote which they are producing, so a certain segment of the population can be spared. So they don't want to harm themselves, their family, friends, and their people which they need in the future to serve them, their servants, so to speak. And for that, a 100% secure antidote to the brain-killing, 100% sure brain-killing coronavirus is being ready to use. Let me give you a little bit of a background to this whole thing. You may say, there are more than 8 billion people. That's quite a lot. And I can understand that certain very influential people have an interest of reducing this. And sure they are, because as I told you yesterday, many tasks which still humans do, any kind of labor, any kind of physical labor, yes, most of office work and so on, will be taken over by robots which will be controlled by artificial intelligence. So 80% of the workforce, as you know today, is not necessary anymore. So what will you do with 7 billion people who have no purpose? The question I asked you yesterday. There is, in the long run, no other way for a very powerful elite than to get rid of them in one way or the other. Now, the infrastructure of this planet is already being in place. If you may ask yourself, what is the purpose of putting windmills in? What is the purpose of the sunlight creating some of the energy? All of this, wind energy and energy from any kind of renewable sources, will never be enough to serve the whole planet with its ever-growing population. And this is the reason. The ones who rule this world, the small elite, are well aware that these kind of technologies of clean energy is only enough for a small fraction of today's Earth population. But it is enough. The infrastructure is already standing. It's of course all the time improved and renewed, but there is no need to build up much more, or even tenfolded over, which is at today's technology anyway not possible. But for them, that what is clean energy on this planet, without much or any pollution, is already implemented. It's only a question of getting rid of the unnecessary population. Then they have enough energy, clean energy, for themselves. The same applies to food. Right now, there might be a struggle, and you can see it sometimes. There are food shortages and water shortages on Earth. But this is not a problem anymore once at least 80% or more of the people do not exist anymore. There will be almost 10 times too much food and water on earth to be consumed. So the food production and also clean water can be reduced to about 20% of the level which you have today. So for the ones who survive, the elite which lives then in absolute luxury in a clean environment, and their servants, which are basically not servants in physical labor, because this will be taken over anyway and is already taken over partly by robots, and the organization of all of the things are being taken over by artificial intelligence. No, the servants which the elite needs is only there to serve their technology. So they will not spare anybody on this planet who is not educated enough to work with highly sophisticated computers, because these are the people being used in the future. Anybody else is not needed. Not only the ones who are not highly educated will be given the virus, but also, of course, people who are older, retired people. They are absolutely unnecessary. Sick people with diseases which are not able to be cured, mentally retarded people, people of other ethnical groups which have different views of life than the one which the elite has, and they are, no matter from what country they are coming from, have the same mentality, trust me. All of these retired sick people, people with lesser IQ, people who are not well trained, all of these people must go. And there will be, as I said, only the elite living in absolute luxury, being served by their robots, and the part of population which is needed for A, serving the robots and artificial intelligence, B, being there in a controlled way to serve as a DNA pool. And they will be controlled, creating offspring, which will also be then in a higher intelligence, on a higher intelligence level, being able in the future to serve the elite, and also, since the elite is very small, will serve in order to crossbreed with, because they are the better, the more useful and intelligent part of the servants. They have two purposes: serving the elite and giving them healthy offspring in the future. But all of this will be in a very controlled way. People from these servant population, we're talking about 500 million or so, the ones who are sick, the ones who are not useful or have a character flaw, they also will be taken out of the system. This is how the future, the clean, green world will function. Much less people, no more physical labor, no more people needed for that. And it's a paradise. It's a paradise for the few 10,000s of leaders which will live in a Garden of Eden. The idea of a planet Earth, clean and healthy, with intelligent, healthy people on, will be accomplished once minimum 80% of the useless population which is on there right now is being culled. And don't forget people who are in prison right now, or people who are having a criminal record. They are the very first ones, with the sick and the old, to go. Always remember, your records are public. Your health records by now are public. Criminal records, your working history, your skills, they have records in school, how educated you are. all of this will be put into a package and will be reviewed, and then you are being exposed to the new brain-killing coronavirus. And if you don't believe me that such a virus exists, dig a little deeper and look it up. New viruses. Look it up, the new dangerous coronavirus. And if you're a little bit lucky, you might even find it already in the press. Rudolf of Germany.